Ho ho ho! Happy holidays! What's up, rebooters? Coach Church here. Today I've got a topic that I think will be of interest to a lot of you because I get questions about this a lot. And that is, why do some straight guys start getting off to transsexual porn? That's porn that features an actress who is a woman, but who used to be a man, and who may or may not still have a penis. What does this mean for these guys? Are they gay now? Do straight guys suddenly just turn gay? Or are they really meant to be with transsexual women? Well, these are questions that I'm going to be answering, but first I will read from a guy who wrote to me his story that typifies a lot of the things that I tend to see in these men who start masturbating to transsexual porn. He says to me, "I've been struggling with porn addiction for almost a year now. It's totally changed my life. I was a happy guy at one point, being fully attracted to women and having sex left and right. I surrounded myself with friends all the time and attended the gym 5 days a week. But now I have no motivation to do anything in life. Ever since this began, I've been lost and very depressed and suicidal. My real trouble started when I was on a dating site last year in August, and I came across a different looking female. I masturbated to it, and afterward realized she was a transsexual. I was confused and scared. Later that week, I went on a hookup site and started talking with a transsexual escort. The urges to meet up with her were terrible, tossing and turning all night long, and I finally managed to masturbate to transsexual porn and not go. At this point, I was very lost on my sexual taste, and at times, I thought I was gay. I would look at guys and check my penis and see if it was hard. I think I developed HOCD. HOCD is homosexual obsessive compulsive disorder, and it develops, I've only seen it develop, among men who have used porn for years consistently and have escalated to this type of content, either transsexual porn or gay porn, and they've started to doubt their sexuality, and it's characterized by a constant anxiety and paranoia about their sexuality. And these are not men who were always homosexual, who always sort of were attracted to their same sex and were suppressing it. These are men who were always attracted to the opposite sex, but are now starting to get off to some different material that makes them doubt that. And they'll maybe look at a guy's crotch in the locker room or something and check, am I aroused right now? Does this mean that I'm gay? Could I be gay? And it tends to cause a lot of emotional distress and really break down their self-confidence and their self-esteem because they don't know who they are anymore. Because sexual identity is such a huge part of our whole identity. He says, after doing a lot of research, I realized I had a porn-induced problem. I've been trying to reboot for a year now, and it's been hell. And that's the thing, is that leave the porn behind and stop masturbating to it, stop masturbating to memories of it even, stop masturbating to porn-induced fantasies, or porn-inspired fantasies rather, and give it enough time, and our sexual tastes tend to return to what they used to be, and those desires that were conditioned by porn tend to fade away. Now when I relapse, I only probably masturbate to tranny porn about 2 times max, and then I reboot for a week and relapse again maybe 8 to 15 days later. The longest I've probably been without porn was about a month, I say, which was literally last month while I was having successful sex with this girl and reaching orgasm, but sometimes not. I was always able to keep an erection and ejaculate, but still found that something was missing, like I wasn't into the sex and my libido was not there at all. Anyways, I want this to be over with and move on with life. Some days I think to myself, did this happen for a reason? Are transsexuals the ones I should be with? I'm just confused and want my old self back. Well, first let's make one thing clear. Transsexual women in porn are attractive to largely one group of people, and that's heterosexual men, right? Transsexual women are women. They present as women. They have feminine characteristics. Who is attracted to these feminine characteristics? Heterosexual men. Actual gay men who have always been attracted to men, they like to look at and have sex with men who present as men with masculine characteristics. They're attracted to masculinity. And just because a transsexual might have a penis doesn't mean that she is masculine or has that aura of masculinity that is attractive to actual gay men. I'm going to read from a quote of a transsexual male to female porn star. She says, "My main audience and the audience for most female porn are straight dudes. That's how it's always been. I will say that all of the visitors to transsexual sites are straight. Many of them are married men, men in relationships with real women, and single men." So just because you're getting off to transsexual porn, that certainly doesn't mean you're gay. It's common among straight men, heterosexual men, to start getting off to or become attracted to transsexual women. Now, why does this happen? Well, there are three main reasons that I'm going to talk about. The first is because, like I said, we guys were attracted to visual characteristics of femininity. And these transsexual women often display these characteristics to a stronger degree than women who were born women, because they're focused on becoming as feminine as possible. So us guys who are very visually oriented, the stronger the visual stimulus for femininity, the stronger our arousal response tends to be. So that's why some guys can get hooked on transsexual porn. Now, the second reason is due to novelty, sexual novelty. All humans and animals across the animal kingdom are wired to be aroused by novelty. New mates, new scenarios, new sexual encounters. And this is in part to ensure genetic diversity, so that we're not staying in one small community and interbreeding. We go out, we seek new things, new partners, and that way we foster a healthy human race. And that's what it's there for. That's what it's meant to do. But the internet is very good at delivering an endless supply of novelty and hijacking this healthy system in our brain that gets us to seek novelty. We can have 20 tabs open, all in different porn sites, featuring different porn stars, doing different sex acts, and it can really arouse us and be more stimulating than our brains evolved to handle. And over time, it's so powerful that our brains, in order to defend themselves from overstimulation, desensitize. The neurons become more numb to that stimulation from sexual stimuli. So this results in tolerance. Tolerance is a medical term that applies to many different scenarios. A drug user, for example, will develop a tolerance over time using his drug of choice. So a year into using his drug of choice, the same dosage just won't make him feel the same feelings. It won't give him that same high that it did that first time. So to get there, he'll use more of that drug, or he'll escalate to a stronger drug. For a porn user, we tend to start spending more time looking for that perfect clip to finish to, or escalating to new genres, novel genres that hack into that part of our brains that gets aroused by sexual novelty. And images that also provoke strong emotional responses like anxiety, surprise, shock, these can actually make us spike our arousal to even higher levels, because these strong emotions, though they might seem negative, actually activate the reward circuit, which is where that sexual stimulus is processed. And when those strong emotions are paired with arousal, it can lead to an even greater arousal spike and can really kick us over that level of tolerance that we have reached in order to get us aroused enough that we can reach climax. The problem is that as we are constantly raising this bar of sexual stimuli needed in order to reach orgasm, we're constantly reaching new plateaus. So once someone sees that transsexual porn and they're already aroused, it's a female body that's arousing to them, but it's also shocking and surprising and anxiety-inducing. That person will be even more aroused by what they're seeing, and if they keep seeking out that transsexual porn, they'll build a new plateau for themselves, and the porn that they used to watch of women who are natural women just won't be enough for them anymore. So they'll start being only able to get off to that transsexual porn and start thinking, well, maybe this is my real sexuality. So that's the second reason guys can get hooked on transsexual porn. Now, the third reason is because of the penis, and this applies to transsexual women who still have a penis. Now I'm going to let Ogi Ogas and Sai Gadam explain this one. They are researchers and authors who wrote the book A Billion Wicked Thoughts and mined a huge pile of internet search data in order to parse out exactly what turns people on.
Male sexual cues are primarily visual, no surprise there. And one thing men like to look at are body parts. So one thing we did in our research is we wanted to figure out which body parts are universal in terms of male sexual interest. That is, are there some body parts that the male sexual brain has a biological predisposition to focusing on? And to somewhat of our surprise, it turns out there are 4 body parts that men in every country in the world are interested in looking at. And they are chests.
Breasts are the 3rd most popular genre of adult websites on the internet, and the 4th most common sexual search.
Buttocks.
The 21st most common sexual search.
Feet.
The 54th most common sexual search.
And anybody want to guess what the 4th one is?
Close.
The penis.
Penises are in fact the 7th most common sexual search on the internet.
So us guys, we're visual creatures, right? We're turned on by certain body parts. I don't think that's too big of a surprise to people, that the chest, the butt, even the feet are powerful visual cues for our arousal. What's surprising to most people is that the penis for a straight male is also one of these cues. Why does this happen?
Sperm competition adaptation. Sperm competition adaptation. This is found all across the animal kingdom, especially among mammals. And it exists because when a male sees another male copulating with a female, if the first male wants a chance to out-reproduce the other male, to impregnate that female, he needs to have more sexual arousal and pursue her with greater sexual vigor than the second male.
Well, that starts to explain a lot. Okay, I see. So straight guys are aroused by the sight of an erect penis, especially in the presence of a woman, because it is a signal that sex is happening there, and in order to pass on our genes, we better get aroused right now and get in on this. And the more dominant the male that we see, which is indicated primitively by the size of the penis, the more aroused we get, because the harder we're going to have to work to get in there and reproduce in the presence of this dominant male. Now this explains a lot. This explains cuckold porn, for example, or the cuckold fetish, in which guys get off seeing their wife or their partner have sex with other men, especially large, dominant men. It also explains why so many straight guys search for big dick porn.
So we can get an idea of exactly what men are looking for with penises by looking at individual search histories, and here is one of them. Men are especially interested in looking at large penises.
And it helps to explain this whole transsexual fetish.
In the same way that the juxtaposition of 2 different visual stimuli can trick the visual brain into producing an optical illusion, it's possible for 2 different sexual cues to trick the sexual brain into producing an erotical illusion. And since male sexual brains and female sexual brains are so different, we'd expect male erotical illusions to be different from female erotical illusions, and that's indeed what we find. A great example of a male erotical illusion is shemale porn. Now, you might be surprised to hear that shemale porn is actually one of the most popular genres of pornography all across the planet, one of the top 10 most popular genres of porn for heterosexual men. Heterosexual men form the main audience for shemale porn, and we can look at different examples of shemale porn to get a sense of what men find attractive about this. They're attracted to young women, large breasts, round butt, small feet, and large penises. In other words, a juxtaposition of the different visual cues. In fact, if you talk to men that are fans of shemale porn, they usually say something like, she's beautiful, but then there's something else that pops out of my brain. It's beguiling, it's strange, I can't really explain it, which is exactly how people describe optical illusions.
So the transsexual woman, or the cartoon or anime versions of a transsexual woman, combine all of those feminine characteristics and cues for male sexual arousal with a big penis, which is also a cue for heterosexual male arousal, creating an erotical illusion, as Ogi and Sai call it. Now, Ogi and Sai are quite optimistic about where all of this is heading.
And in conclusion, let me say sometimes our science is criticized for being too reductionist, for oversimplifying human sexual desire. But truly, we take the opposite philosophy. We think this shows the incredible creativity and imagination of our sexual brain. These simple sexual cues can produce such original creations as a fictional vampire in a whole series of novels, and she-male schoolgirls. These are just so inventive, and it shows there's no limit to our potential of our human sexual creativity. And it also suggests that we should be more tolerant and understanding and not feel so much guilt and shame about our own sexual interests and our partner's sexual interests. Sexual interests are natural and healthy, even when they might seem very strange.
So they view transsexual pornography and cartoons of futanari, anime schoolgirls, for example, with big penises, as representing new heights of human creativity in the realm of sexuality. I'm not so optimistic about all this because I work with guys who have escalated to getting off to these erotical illusions, and they didn't find new levels of happiness and satisfaction by finding these creative efforts. They found themselves in a place of self-doubt and fear and confusion and emotional distress. And I'm not here to judge anyone who's into this type of pornography or who is attracted to transsexual women. If that's something that is innate to you and you want to explore that in real life and it makes you happy, I'm not here to judge that. Go for it. I don't care. But those guys who have used internet porn for years and escalated to these types of pornography, types of porn that they find repulsive or disgusting and that they're ashamed of, I'm here to say that you don't have to be interested in those for the rest of your life. Leave behind the porn, give yourself a chance to heal and resensitize, and you will very, very likely revert back to your former sexuality, being aroused by whatever you were aroused by before you found porn. Now, these interests that you have developed through your pornographic conditioning, they might always be present. You might always be interested in them, but you won't need them to get off. And in truth, you won't know what your true sexual interests are until you're off of the pornography for a sufficient amount of time. If you're like me, your sexuality has been molded for years by that pornography that your brain has been conditioned to desire. And once I was off of porn for 6 months, 8 months, a year, I found myself not being aroused anymore by the things in porn that had aroused me and being aroused by things in real life that I had never been aroused by in porn. Now I'm going to read one more letter from a woman who wrote to me, and this will show you how bad it can get once a guy has escalated far enough that he is completely dissociated from his former sexuality. She says, "Dear Noah, I thank you from my heart for sharing your personal testimony and helping others facing the same battle. I listened to you speak and saw such a healing transformation in your own life, so I subscribed, in the hope that my fiancé may come to the point of seeing he's destroying himself and me. Outwardly, he is a Christian, always eager to wear his t-shirts proclaiming the gospel of salvation, but I've just discovered that it's a facade. Recently, we installed internet at home, and I finally used our joint email address and wondered why Google sent so many porn-related ads, so I checked up and found that they respond to a person's searches. So I checked the spam folders and trash, finally Gmail's account history. It contained emails to she-male escorts. He's also accessed dominatrix services wanting scat and euro. I had to look these terms up. Please don't look those terms up. Finally, BDSM, collared and escorts and sex chats, straight, gay, and especially transsexuals. It explains why he hasn't sought intimacy with me, why he picks fights so he can spend hours, days, weeks in silence in his room until I apologize for trying to have a conversation with him. I am gutted. We've been together 10 years and I found 5 years of hidden history. All that was on our joint Gmail. 4 weeks ago, I saw Mistress Worship on YouTube history and asked him about it. He got furious and has not spoken to me since. Now he goes to the internet cafe before coming home late to check his replies. I forgot to tell you he's joined eHarmony, Russian Brides, and other agencies. I know he needs help and I would stand by him to overcome this, but he's made it clear that it's not my business. So I've gone to several sites and downloaded videos which I will prepare for him to watch if or when he gets what has happened to him and actually sees it as wrong in a healthy relationship. I'll be moving out. Nothing hurts worse than being betrayed, ignored like I don't exist. He just doesn't care. Now, obviously, this is an extreme example. Not everyone who uses porn consistently is going to escalate to this level, but this is an example of someone who's used porn for so long, desensitized himself so much that he is desperately seeking anything that will kick him over that wall of tolerance that he has built to the point where he gets aroused enough to reach orgasm, searching for a wide variety of fetishes, trying anything that he can to breach that wall of tolerance. Is that what you want to be? Ask yourself that. Is that where you want to go? Because I can tell you that no amount of searching in the world of internet porn is going to ever fill that hole, is ever going to lead to satisfaction. Satisfaction is finding real intimacy with real people in the real world and having satisfying, healthy relationships with them. And it breaks my heart that this relationship has been so thoroughly destroyed by that man's sexual habits. So, best of luck to all of you out there. I hope this video helps some of you. If you'd like to get my help personally, ask me questions. I offer paid ways to get in touch with me through email, Skype, phone. Just go to my website, Addicted to Internet Porn, for that. This has been Coach Church. I'll see you all next time. Have a wonderful PMO-free day.